The highest honor in professional football is making it to Canton. To be included in the Hall of Fame, this question must be answered. Can you tell the history of the NFL without him? So here goes. Can you tell the history of the NFL without Eli Manning? Some would argue that you could. Aside from his 2 Super Bowl rings, he was mediocre. Eli had a pedestrian regular season record of 117 wins and 117 losses. He led the NFL in interceptions 3 times. Eli Manning's Hall of Fame case is divisive. Been that way for years. I would say put some respect on his name. Eli beat Brady twice in the Super Bowl. Let me repeat that for those in the back. Eli beat Brady twice in the Super Bowl. You can't tell the history of the NFL without Eli Manning. Well, the voters did not agree, at least not this year. Eli not elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. Eli Manning is one of 6 players all time with multiple Super Bowl MVPs. The other 5 were inducted into the Hall of Fame in their first year of eligibility or will be. Bart Starr, Terry Bradshaw, Joe Montana, Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes. When it comes to the championships, durability, and longevity, it's a first ballot career. Eli Manning never missed a game due to his injury and his 210 straight regular season starts, 3rd longest quarterback streak all time. He retired top 10 all time in passing touchdowns and passing yards, but he'll have to wait another year to get the call to the Hall. The Hall of Fame class of 2025 revealed at Honors Night in New Orleans. Here's how it looks. Jared Allen, the great pass rusher, 12th most sacks in NFL history. Eric Allen, the corner, 6-time Pro Bowler. Wide receiver Sterling Sharp joins his brother Shannon in the Hall of Fame. First pair of brothers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And Antonio Gates, 7th most receiving touchdowns in NFL history, 116 most by a tight end as they get the call to the Hall. And for more, welcoming 2-time national champion, former NFL running back Damien Harris. Eli Manning not elected in his first year of eligibility. Damien, what's your reaction?
I thought it was fair. I mean, listen, you just told a beautiful love story about Eli's career, but the glaring positives is the fact that he beat Tom Brady in a Super Bowl twice. And although that is very impressive and not many people can say that they've done that, in fact, he's the only person that can say that he's done that. But at the end of the day, when you look at a 500 career record, again, not being one of the generational quarterbacks of his generation, I mean, I get it. He was tough as nails. He went out there, he competed. You know, he has the 3rd most consecutive starts, you know, didn't go down with injuries, but he just wasn't that top tier quarterback. And he was great. Don't get me wrong. He's a part of that long history Manning family, and he definitely will get into the Hall of Fame, but I thought it was fair to make him wait just a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine. He got snubbed, though. You know who got snubbed last year? Antonio Gates, and he gets the call to the Hall in his 2nd year of eligibility. He has the 7th most receiving touchdowns in NFL history and most by a tight end. Spent his entire 16-year career with the Chargers, made 8 straight Pro Bowl selections from 2004 to 2011. And you know I grew up in Kent. He played for Kent State, not football, but basketball, which everybody likes to talk about because he was drafted into the NFL. What a career, Damien, from Antonio Gates, and it gets capped off with a Hall of Fame selection.
Antonio Gates' career was nothing short of phenomenal. And what surprises me and should surprise a lot of people is look at how big he is. Look at the size of him. He looks like a blocking tight end. He almost looks like a fullback. But like you said, most touchdowns in tight end history. I mentioned the stat earlier, the most touchdowns on 3rd down in NFL history. I mean, this guy could do it all. He could block, he could catch, he could run with the football like a running back once he got the ball in his hands. And of course, his career was highlighted and capped off by being inducted into the Hall of Fame. So Antonio Gates is a guy, like I said earlier, you know, people talk about Travis Kelce, people talk about Tony Gonzalez, people talk about Rob Gronkowski as the greatest tight ends of all time. Well, we seriously need to go back in the history books and look at what Antonio Gates has done, watched his film, and then it'll be no surprise to anybody that he was selected to the Hall of Fame and his name will be enshrined forever.
Yeah, good that Antonio Gates gets in his 2nd year of eligibility. Biggest snub is who for you? Because of the guys that were eligible in their first year, none of them were selected. And you look at this class of 4 players here, they had 0 combined rings in terms of Super Bowl rings. Eli Manning has 2. I'm just going back to Eli Manning. He has 2 rings, and none of these guys have a ring at all. Who was your biggest snub this year?
I'm going to be honest with you, Keem. I don't really think anybody was snubbed because obviously the people who select who gets enshrined in the Hall of Fame are so selective. They take their time. Yes, some people get to be first ballot Hall of Famers, some on their second try, but this is a waiting game. And there are a lot of great players that I mentioned earlier, guys like Adam Vinatieri, guys like Luke Kuechly, who will have their name enshrined in Canton forever at some point. But this is a waiting game. There have been so many greats of the game of football, and I'm sure the selection committee has a hard time on their hands because they're looking at offensive players, defensive players, special teams players, coaches, people in ownership. Like, there are a lot of people that their name comes across as potentials to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. So I don't really think anybody was snubbed. I think that anybody whose name is even being recognized as somebody to go into the Hall of Fame, like, that's a tremendous honor, and that speaks volumes to the type of career that you had, the type of impact that you had, whether it was one team, one organization, multiple organizations. It's just a testament to how great you were as a player, as a person, and how you lived out your dreams. So for all the guys on that list, your time will come. It's a waiting game. We've seen this. Some people have been waiting a lot longer than others.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, just having your name mentioned with these all-time greats, like, it's just something to be grateful for. And I'm sure all of these guys are. And I'm sure your beloved Eli Manning knows he's going to get in the Hall of Fame one day. So he might have wanted to be a first ballot as bad as he wanted to, but he knows his time is coming. Again, it's just a waiting game.
I think he belongs to the Hall of Fame. You can't tell the history of the NFL without Eli Manning. You just can't.
500. Remember, Keem,
I get
500
Yeah,
win
well,
percentage.
He beat Tom Brady twice. Find me another quarterback that has done that.
So, hold on. Let me say this, though,
Yeah,
Keem. Let me say this, though. The fact that Eli was considered to be a first ballot Hall of Famer just for beating Tom Brady in the Super Bowl twice, that just tells you what the football world, what everybody thinks of the great and the one and only Tom Brady. Because if that's, granted, I'm not saying 2 Super Bowls is nothing. Like, by no means am I saying that. But if there is 2 Super Bowls and then we can sit here and say, okay, 500 win percentage, led the league in interception 3 times, it's not really, the odds aren't in his favor. But again, that just speaks volumes and a testament to what and how great Tom Brady has been in this league. And the fact that Eli was able to beat him, that is, again, it's going to get him into Canton at some point, just not first ballot.
Yep, it will. It'll happen, just not this year. Damien Harris here on CBS Sports HQ. The 2025 Pro Football Hall of Fame class will be enshrined in Canton in August. And here's a look at the notable first-time eligible players for 2026. Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, both those guys, they threw touchdowns to Antonio Gates. Larry Fitzgerald, Julian Edelman, Jason Witten, and Frank Gore.